And we're live. Mike Stuglis on my right over here. I guess I should introduce myself before saying anything. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Nolan. And I'm looking right in the eyes of Mike Stuglis.
Hey.
One of our hosts.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm sipping on like my third coffee. Now, we were talking before the show. You hate decaf coffee.
Ugh.
What's the beef?
The beef is what's the point? You know? Like, oh, I'm going to have decaf for the flavor. No, go all in or don't drink the coffee.
I suppose that's fair. There's the people that have like a cup of coffee before bed. I think that's insanity.
I feel like tea is the better alternative.
Yeah, it's
there.
calming. It's
Yeah.
nice you get that warm drink in you still.
And you could buy the tea that's kind of meant to put you to sleep.
Chamomile.
Yeah.
That's good.
I love chamomile.
Nice herbal.
Yeah, it's great.
Dan Stewart over there talking about chamomile tea. Is it chamomile or chamomile or chamomile?
It's chamomile.
Okay, just checking.
I feel like decaf coffee is like O'Doul's. You know what O'Doul's
Oh yeah, the
is?
beer that's decaf or not decaf? Beer,
Yeah, it's decaf beer.
Non-alcoholic beer.
Non-alcoholic beer. Yeah, it sucks. Like, what's the point? I mean, like pregnant women like drink O'Doul's. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of
why.
be out and drinking beers, but like not, be hurting the baby. But
Unless you want to. We're all for that here in the Creatively Challenged podcast.
If you're like an addictive coffee drinker, like all three of us are, I can have a cup of coffee at like 8 and like the effects will be off by the time like I go to bed. So I like don't see why people drink decaf. I don't know. It's just not in my realm of understanding because I don't know. I just don't. I'm not for it. I'm very anti-decaf.
It's in the same vein of like the non-alcoholic beer, that's insane. If you're gonna have that taste of beer, why not just get that?
Because if you're pregnant, then you can't hurt the baby.
But like you could have a beer and still go to sleep in an hour, but I can't enjoy the taste of coffee and then go to bed. I don't know.
If you're gonna smoke beer,
Dude, I smoked like 3 beers last night.
If you're gonna drink beer while you have a baby, you should just go all in and just smoke crack.
Just jump off a bridge.
Yeah. Stomach first.
Oh God, onto a dry riverbed.
Or just take a pair of scissors and cut that baby out.
Jesus Christ.
It's also for alcoholics for them to like not get drunk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. They could live back on the glory days. Well, for the uninitiated, this isn't a decaf coffee podcast. This is Creatively Challenged.
What if it was?
Creatively Challenged, the premier movie and entertainment podcast. And each and every week here on Creatively Challenged, we talk about entertainment news, we review a movie, and discuss random topics that we bring to this $34 card table. And with that, are we going to the news?
I'll let Dan
All right.
finish his stretch.
Well, it's been a big week in Hollywood as the wake of all these Harvey Weinstein. What's the consensus on that?
Weinstein? That's how I say it.
It's actually okay.
Does it matter?
Weinstein. In wake of the Harvey Weinstein accusations, several other people have come forward about other stars or people involved in production of movies and things like that. And so, notably, earlier this week, Kevin Spacey was outed as harassing a minor when they were in a Broadway production. He was 14 years old. It's Anthony Rapp. He now stars in Star Trek Discovery. I don't know the role he plays in it because I don't care about that show. But at age 14, Kevin Spacey assaulted this kid, or at least Anthony Rapp says so. And in wake of that, he had to respond on Twitter by saying that he doesn't really know whether or not these events happened, and then came out as gay, which is a bad way to deflect any bad press. I mean, it's really inconsequential.
And he was also like, I was drunk. Like, he used alcohol as an excuse.
That's a horrible
as well.
excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if that were a straight guy on anything, we'd be like, well, you're an idiot. You know? This has a lot of impacts, though. I mean, he was a beloved actor. Like, he did a lot of great stuff. And House of Cards now, like, what do you guys know what the whole story is on the future of it?
They said that they were going to, at first, now they've halted production, and because I think they're going to rewrite. But at first they were saying, like, this is going to be the last season anyway. And then it was rumored that they were just going to cancel it altogether. And then now they're saying that they're just going to write his character off and kill him.
Well, how does the show continue without him? Was he not like the main
Him
central
and
character?
Robin Wright's character, who
So it
is
can continue.
arguably at this point in the show the better character, which I would say. But the show should just stop altogether because how they left it with the last season would be a proper place to end it. But
Okay.
yeah, that's what's going on with it.
Well, another accusation that
I
came
didn't
out.
get to talk about Kevin Spacey.
Dan?
Well, he was finishing
Thoughts?
all of them.
I know. Let's just go into it. Kevin Spacey, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think he's a fucking weirdo, Ryan. I think he has been for the last 30 years. This doesn't strike me, but like people are... I think it's a goddamn shame of him to try and like come out as gay like right now to cover this whole thing up. Mm-hmm. It's sickening to me. Because like, you know, like... He's the whole deflection aspect of it is like, dude, not only are you gay, but like, like I'm saying that like it's a bad thing. It's not. He can be gay if he wants, but
Not
like,
only is he gay,
but like he's trying to take away the view from this. It's like, dude, and people like are like think that this was like a now Kevin Spacey, like he's an old man Kevin Spacey, and he like advanced on this kid. Like he was 26 when it happened, but like still, he was 26 and the kid was like 14. Like that's not okay. That's still fucked up. So like it's so like it happened a long time ago, but like now with the whole Weinstein thing, like. People are going after it, and if you've got demons and skeletons in your closet, like they're gonna come back and get you. And I don't know how to handle it the right way, but Kevin Spacey certainly did not.
No.
So, like, you know, this is just.
you called it with the Weinstein thing. You said that I think this is just the beginning,
Yeah.
and there was some stuff about Ben Affleck, even though it wasn't as serious, but he like was making women feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Casey Affleck's been in shit for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and now Kevin Spacey, and yeah, I think this
Didn't
is
handle
it's just
it.
going to keep coming out, which is a good thing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know the right way to handle it because it's you know it's sickening, it's bad, but Kevin Spacey definitely did not.
No. The right way to handle all this was to never have made sexual advances on a minor in the first place.
Well, there's also been multiple allegations now of a couple different people who have said like one had an ongoing relationship with Spacey when he was 24 and I think he was 14 too. So it's like it's kind of gross that he's probably been predatorial for decades.
But
you know, you can't say for certain, but
yeah, here's my thing about stuff like that is after the initial, like there are going to be a ton more that come forward. I kind of don't want to believe like the second and third ones because I didn't even hear about the other ones. Like I feel like those are kind of like the like 100 women that came forward with Tiger Woods, or like the 50 that came forward for Bill Cosby. Like I feel like some of them are just like trying to get their 15 minutes.
I don't want to say that at all.
Like, is that shitty of me to say? But
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
But that happened. People just try to get their 15 minutes of fame and say it happened to me.
But some people are also affected by it.
No, I know that. I'm not saying they weren't. I'm saying some people do, and it's shitty of them to do that.
Instead of looking at the person that's saying it, we just have to remember that these are just, and I'm not dismissing any of these claims, but in all of these things and the cases we're about to go through following Kevin Spacey, they're all just accusations.
Yeah.
They're unchecked. We don't know any of the variables. And so some of these might have happened. Some of these might not have happened. So to like say that there's been so many people that have came out, so many names with unchecked evidence, I don't think we should fully dismiss someone as a horrible monster until we get hard evidence. Like with Kevin Spacey, it definitely happened, right?
Yeah.
But with others that have been mentioned, not the guys that we're going to talk about after this, but with others that have been mentioned, we don't know if that's true. They're just accusations. This is not like a court of law where we need hard evidence. So let's not dismiss people.
Unfortunately, sometimes too, people are like, you know, back in the old days. Unfortunately, women were kind of more in a submissive position, and a guy could just come up to them, and I'm not saying like go up to him and like grab him, but they could be very forward, be like, "Oh, you are very attractive. I want to do this, this, and this."
Yeah.
And nowadays that is sexual harassment, but back then, unfortunately, it was kind of just part of the culture, and that's why you hear stories about, Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
How we have him in the docket right now too. I think some I think it was just a different time period back then, and the lens of what sexual harassment was then to what it is now is very different. Now some people are just full on like rapists and sexual fiends like Harvey Weinstein. So
Yeah.
This article was reported in 1945. Irish film star Maureen O'Hara charged Hollywood producers and directors with calling her a cold potato without sex appeal because she refuses to let them make love to her. She said, "I am so upset with it that I am ready to quit Hollywood. It's got so bad I hate to come to work in the morning. I'm a helpless victim of a Hollywood whispering campaign because I don't let the producer and director kiss me every morning or let them paw me. They have spread word around town that I am not a woman, that I am a cold piece of marble statue. I guess Hollywood won't consider me as anything except a cold hunk of marble until I divorce my husband, give my baby away, and get my names and photographs in all the newspapers. If that's how Hollywood's idea of being a woman, I'm ready to quit now." That was in 1945. Mm-hmm. It, probably in the heyday of movies starting to get like big and Hollywood being a big, and Maureen O'Hara, huge movie star back then. So that was reported in a newspaper in 1945. And I'd have to do more research to see if there was a witch hunt back then, but I fucking doubt it.
Yeah.
And it's I'm glad we live in the time that we live in, to where everybody can dig deep and find stuff like this, and it's not okay for people. I mean, it was never okay, but people can't hide anymore. Mm-hmm.
I just get really mad too about the amount of people that know
Right.
and didn't say anything. We talked about it. I don't know if the news was out then, but about Weinstein. Quentin Tarantino was I wasn't. Oh, now this is his words, but he's I wasn't aware it was as severe as it was, but I knew he was making a ton of sexual advances on women. I'm dude, you could have said something, and just the amount of people that probably knew about Netflix knew about Kevin Spacey.
I read that.
In House of Cards, he cornered someone in their trailer, and was being very touching them weirdly and doing all this stuff, and Netflix just was all right, yeah, we'll handle it. So it's pretty sickening that just because someone has fame or money, they're able to get away with stuff like this, and there's people that protect them. So I hope this ousts a lot of Hollywood.
Well, another one too was Matt Damon in an interview. I'm about to do my best Jimmy Kimmel here. Matt Damon was just oh yeah, Harvey Weinstein's a prick. Everybody knew that. All right, Matt, then why didn't you say something before? Because he knew he could have lost his job, or he could have been not hired a lot after that because of what Weinstein could do. So I get the fear of what could happen, but if you knew and you're gonna sit back and say oh yeah, this guy was a prick, after he gets arrested for it, then how many others are you protecting by doing that?
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys want to move on to the next one?
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
With
so
one of the greatest pickup lines of all time.
There's been actually two big accusations now against Dustin Hoffman. The first one came out about when he was doing the TV film for Death of a Salesman. He made a lot of advances toward one of the other stars in that. And then a second one came out when he was working on a film it was actually just meetings for a script in 1991 when he was 53. He advanced on a 20-year-old. He did say a few sort of pickup lines, which are funny in reading, but if you think about the situation, they're really kind of hard to read.
What were the pickup lines?
I don't have them off the thing right now.
It's I'll take a hot coffee and a cold clitoris, or maybe the other way around, or something.
Yeah, they were pretty gross.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's not good.
He said funny in reading, but just like in the general context.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
nasty.
definitely not going to use that one.
I might.
But I mean, even that's come about him. Another guy, beloved actor. I don't know if his career is over, but he certainly didn't do the right things. And these were as recent as 91. Well, even though it's like more than 20 years ago now, but
He was
91.
53. He was old enough to know.
Yeah, he definitely was old enough, and like he could get anything he wants. That he like was doing that to someone. It's not very good. Do you guys think he should now be blackballed out of Hollywood?
He's 78. He ain't got much longer to begin with.
That's fair.
I feel like they're not as what's the word I'm looking for? They're not as like forward with his story because Kevin Spacey's like still like working. He's in House of Cards. He was just in Baby Driver. Dustin Hoffman is not in a ton anymore, and he's kind of just been. I feel like it's kind of just like also there's way more coming out about Spacey, so I feel like that's kind of stealing the spotlight. But
Yeah.
you know.
In The Graduate, like Mrs. Robinson like accuses him of raping her. So maybe he never stopped being Ben Braddock.
Well, rape and harassment, two very different things.
Because these were just cases of harassment as far as we know. So it's hard to see, but I don't know. Like, yeah, he is 78 now, but I don't know that, like, what can we do? That's just, like, that's an old case. I don't really know that there could even be, like, any action of law taken on that. It's
That's the thing with
Go
Kevin
ahead.
Spacey as well. I mean, like, he was 26 when it happened. How old is he now? It's like 60s,
50, 58.
50s, yeah.
But that's, like, full-on assault on a minor. But, Mike, what were you saying?
Oh, I hope this, like, we actually get some attention off of, like, our president because politics is just so tiring these days. And I hope we, like Dan said about Weinstein, I hope we, like, start to get some really good investigative journalism. And I know this stuff is sickening, but, like, I'd rather these guys get their legacies ruined if they're pieces of shit.
I know what you mean by that, but, like, I don't want attention taken off of him. I don't want him to do anything that'll ruin our country because everybody's focused on what's going on in Hollywood. There needs
I'm
to
talking
be
about like Colbert covering his tweets every week.
No, I hear that. But like, yeah, journalism just needs to keep up in all areas of life.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
What was the other one?
The other one is on director and producer Brett Ratner, who he helped produce The Revenant. He directed the third X-Men movie, X-Men The Last Stand. He's had his name on a lot of stuff. He directed that shitty Hercules movie with The Rock in 2014. Oh. But he, like Weinstein, has his name on a lot of things. He's a very powerful guy. What are you giggling about, Dan?
I'm not going to say it on the mic.
As I was saying, Brett Ratner, really, really powerful guy in Hollywood. And he now has had allegations of full-on like sexual assault. Is he blackballed? I don't know. I honestly had never heard of the guy prior to these, but I didn't even know he had his name on so many things.
Yeah. I'm kind of done talking about it.
I am too.
It's tiring.
Just putting it forward.
Yeah.
He had a movie that was going to come out that they just canceled. Oh, that's right. He was on that biopic of Hugh Hefner.
Right.
Which apparently Jared Leto wasn't even aware of, even though it was rumored that he was going to star in it. He said, like, I had no intention of being in this movie. And so I don't really know what the word was on that, but that's enough of this. I'm done with it. Sexual assault is bad, and it shouldn't be in Hollywood or anywhere. What's our next story?
Well, our next story involves the DC movie universe. And Henry Cavill, who is known as playing Clark Kent in Superman, because Clark Kent and Superman aren't the same person. Mm-hmm. So one's got glasses and the other one doesn't. He in a recent interview with somebody, I don't know who, he admitted that the DC to like the DC movie universe struggling, like he knows that Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman wasn't everything that they could have been, but he called Wonder Woman a step in the right direction. Now, this is kind of like big, especially like a couple weeks right before Justice League comes out, to say for him, especially because he's fucking Superman. Like, I'm glad that even the stars of these movies know that like the production of them, like, and the studios are kind of like making these pictures kind of like suck. But, Wonder Woman certainly was a step in the right direction, but I hope Henry Cavill's words can actually pull some weight at like DC and Warner Brothers to actually like say like, okay, maybe we need to take a step back and do things differently so we can make these movies better.
This isn't the first time we've had a star say something. Ben Affleck also said that I think Batman v Superman was a disappointment, even though I know he said he was proud of it. But yeah, I think some of the actors are kind of well aware of the situation they're in. And, I'll keep it blunt because we kind of talk about DC every week. But as long as the stars, the producers, the writers, and the directors, they all start to get on the same page, I think it's a really good thing. I want him to figure it out because there's so much potential, and I like Henry Cavill as Superman. So I don't hear anything about his job being in danger like Ben Affleck. So that's a good thing. But I mean, we'll see with Justice League here. But yeah, he's correct. It is a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
Was The Man from U.N.C.L.E. a good movie?
Yeah, I really liked it. Even though people are divisive about Guy Ritchie, I thought The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was really good. I'd recommend it if you're looking for something to watch. Not Guy from U.N.C.L.E., Man from U.N.C.L.E. Great movie. But I mean, he's looking at these movies with the same lens that we are. He sees the finished product and sees that it's lacking some core things to them. And if he's aware of it, then people at Warner Brothers, people that are producing, should also be aware of these things unless they're very far up their own ass. But yeah, I think given all the statements we've reviewed post Wonder Woman, they understand. They know, like, we fucked up. Maybe they realize a little late on Justice League, but we'll see in a few weeks when Justice League comes out if that's any good. But I think they're headed in the right direction. The question is it too late?
He does have the second best movie in DCU with Man of Steel. Man of Steel is not amazing, but it's a solid movie.
Yeah.
I thoroughly entertained when I watched that movie. So I mean, they just got to keep the fucking level of destruction down, and it looks like they're gonna level more of it in Justice League.
Yeah, it looks like everything's gonna get blown up. But I mean, they're performing well in the box office. They have the full power to make these better, artistically at least. But is it too late to save it? I think I've asked this every time we talk about DC, but can you turn it around, given the foundation they've laid?
I wonder after Justice League what position they're going to be in.
Mm-hmm. I think Justice League is the pivot point for whether or not we can say this studio's fucked. Because then they've had 2 good movies and 3 really shitty ones.
Yeah.
Or 3 shitty ones. Suicide Squad's really shitty.
They're gonna make money with Justice League though, so it makes me wonder. They're probably just gonna plow ahead and make on par movies.
Wonder Woman 2 is happening. Mm-hmm. We know that, and Patty Jenkins is at the helm there. So we know there's gonna be another good DC movie down the line, or at least we know it's in the right hands. So like that's something that they can ride on. They can say like, oh yeah, we know that, Justice League was overindulgent and stupid, but, look at Patty Jenkins and Wonder Woman over here. Yeah, look at that. We can do that. And they can just ride that out forever.
If Justice League isn't pleasing to us, I think that's going to be the case. They're just going to sweep it under the rug and say, oh, we got this guy.
What pisses me off is I want to say, like, oh, if Justice League sucks, I don't want to go see Flash and I don't want to see Aquaman.
We're going to go.
But we're going to go.
Yeah. Of course we're going to go.
They have us under a spell.
That's why they're always making money. But yeah, we'll ride it out. We're going to pay for all these.
I mean, I'm never not going to see a Batman movie. And Batman comes out next year, doesn't it?
Something like that.
I think it was 2018, and now with Ben Affleck not directing, a script change, I think it's going to be like a little longer.
Okay. Well, is that all we have on this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's our next story?
The next thing is big news out of Disney. They announced the full cast for Lion King. So before we knew that Donald Glover was going to play Simba, we knew that James Earl Jones was going to play Mufasa, and we knew that Chiwetel Ejiofor was going to play Scar. But now we have the full cast released the other day for The Lion King. Jon Favreau directing the live action, going forward with that. It releases in summer 2019, but like one of the big ones was Beyonce is going to play Nala. That's awesome. Everybody loves Beyonce, except for that time where everybody thought where she was the only woman to ever be pregnant.
What?
When she got pregnant, people were ridiculous.
Like,
that's
oh,
Queen, slay, all that fucking noise. Yeah, fuck her. John Oliver is playing Zazu. Gian Connie is playing Rafiki. Seth Rogen is playing Pumbaa. Billy Eichner is playing Timon. Eric Andre is playing Azizi.
Who is that?
He's a comedian.
I know Eric Andre. I mean Azizi.
Oh, I'm assuming one of the hyenas. Because Azizi...
Is Ed in it?
People are making Designer should play Ed in The Lion King. Like, Designer's a shitty rapper. I assume they're changing the names of the hyenas because Florence Kasumba is playing Shenzi, and that is the name of a hyena from the original Lion King.
Whoopi Goldberg, right?
Whoopi Goldberg played Shenzi. And then Cheech Marin played I can't remember. There was Shenzi there was Shenzi, Cheech, and Ed. I don't know who Cheech played.
Ed's the goat, dude.
But Ed is the stupid one. But Eric Andre is playing Azizi. I'm gonna assume these three are the hyenas. So Eric Andre is playing Azizi. Florence Kasumba is playing Shenzi, and Keegan Michael Key is playing Kamari. And then there are two kids who are playing the young Simba and young Nala. But, dude, this movie's gonna be great. I'm so excited. Everybody loves The Lion King. Everybody loves Hamlet starring lions. So this cast is great. Love Beyonce. Love Donald Glover. James Earl Jones coming back as Mufasa. That's big. I really like this casting, and Jon Favreau has already done great things with the live action, Jungle Book. He's Disney's guy, so I'm excited for this. Great castings.
I think this is my most anticipated Disney product. Lion King's so good. I hope Hans Zimmer scores it. That'd be so cool again.
You'd have to do the whole. I mean, we've seen Beauty and the Beast, and we've seen Jungle Book. They brought the songs back, so they'd have to have the
They
right.
Better. They have to.
Yeah,
dude. And I said it when did we review that on the show, Jungle Book? We totally did.
No. That was before we
Wow.
started.
Okay,
Review Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. Well, the biggest praise I had for Jungle Book was how well they handled the songs. Because personally, I don't like musicals very much. I think it kind of interrupts the flow of the narrative. But they just kind of popped into the songs in Jungle Book. It was really nice. It wasn't invasive. It didn't overstay its welcome. It was 30 seconds per song. And they got back to it, and it was so good. And I hope that's the case here, because it's the same director.
I'm thinking they're probably gonna have somebody other than Elton John do the Can you feel the love tonight? Right?
He'll be in it.
He will just Elton John.
Do you think it's just gonna be the same
there.
song, or do you think somebody's probably gonna do a cover of it? I'm gonna think the same thing for the Nasabenya thing.
Who's to say? Very far out. But
I feel it's nuanced. Let's just make everything new.
They didn't do that with Jungle Book, did they?
They just had Bill Murray sing.
Well, Bill Murray
and then Walken sang.
Walking.
Yeah, Christopher
he was
Walken
King
was
Louis.
King Louis.
Oh no, I was just
He was
saying
awesome.
Walking.
Yeah, he was.
So yeah, I'm sure that the top 3 songs maybe will make it, and I think they're gonna leave it at that.
What also worked so well with the Jungle Book movie is all the voice casting was so spot on. And that's kind of why the movie was so good. It's they hired Idris Elba to have a villainous voice. He worked. They hired Ben Kingsley to sound very like a father figure. He has that voice. They hired Bill Murray to have a comedic voice. All the casting was really good. And everything I see with this movie, it's also great casting because for your 3 hyenas, which are comedic relief for the most part, you have Eric Andre, who's fucking hilarious. You have Keegan Michael Key, one of the funniest people alive, and then I don't know who the other.
I have to look up.
It
who the
is
other lady
Florence Kasumba.
Yeah, What's she in?
I don't know. I can look. You guys keep talking.
But yeah, and they brought James Earl Jones back. He's going to have that same voice, obviously. I'm interested specifically to hear Glover and Ejiofor. Ejiofor has a good voice, but it's very British,
Right.
and I don't get the same like villainous twang that I do with Elba. I think he'll be great, but I'm just curious to how it'll sound.
Jeremy Irons is the original Scar in 1994. Did such a great job.
When do you guys get the chance? Just keep going.
Oh,
And like John Oliver as Zazu, I'm actually kind of excited for because like John Oliver has like I can already like picture that because the guy who voiced Zazu in the original one had a very like annoying voice, and so does like John Oliver. He can put on a very like hard British accent for it. So like I'm excited for it. It's gonna be so good, dude. I love The Lion King. I can't wait for James Earl Jones to say, "Everything the light touches is our kingdom." Again,
I can't wait to see him get trampled.
Wow.
So Florence Kasumba is a German actress, and we're kind of familiar with her because she was in Civil War as the security chief for Black Panther, and
she's gonna be
one of those girls I was talking about that we keep forgetting the name of.
Yeah, and she's also in Wonder Woman as as a senator. I was for Themyscira. Did they have senators?
Yes,
brief.
Yes.
So she's one of them.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's just about all we know her from. And so, yeah, familiar face in the Disney family now. And good cast, right? It's like, this is solid.
Yeah.
It should be a great movie.
It should be.
Next
No,
story.
it will be.
Beyonce and Donald Glover are just gonna sing "Can You Feel the Love Tonight."
Ooh.
They're both great. They're both artists.
Oh, yeah.
That's
man.
right.
Like, that's
I
what
hope
it's
they
gonna
don't make
be.
it a rap song.
Oh,
Why would
Jesus.
they? It's not.
I just hope, because Donald Glover is a fantastic rap artist. So I wonder if they'd make it like pop, which is kind of what Beyonce is, and hip hop.
If there's one thing, and I hope I don't eat my words in this, but if there's one thing we know, it's that Jon Favreau keeps a constant artistic aesthetic to things, and I don't think he'd ever let that happen. I don't think.
And it's Disney. I don't think they'd stray too far away from the original.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Hopefully. I don't want that to happen. That wouldn't work.
Jon Favreau hasn't, obviously, with the Jungle Book, but like Cinderella was bad.
I didn't see it.
It was bad.
Well, I won't see it now.
Yeah.
What's our next story?
Amazon Studios is in talks with the Tolkien estate. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the Lord
Ryan's
of the Rings
going to
books.
piss.
And I should probably reread that.
Yeah, reread it.
Because Ryan's got to pee. Amazon Studios is in talks with the Tolkien estate. And J.R.R. Tolkien is the writer of the famous Lord of the Rings book. Ryan, shut the fuck up. And then, fuck, what was I saying? Oh, Amazon Studios is talking about making a Lord of the Rings TV show. And I hate this.
I am so not about it, dude. Fuck this. Like, it was literally 01, 02, 03 was Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King. In 3 years, they probably all shot them, like, back to back to back.
Yeah.
Because, like, goddamn, you have, like, a 9-hour and 12 hour, if you're watching on TNT, beautifully Academy Award nominated.
Winning.
Academy Award winning. Return of the King won everything.
It won Best Picture.
Return of the King won everything. Like, probably, other than like the original Star Wars, and I will put them above Harry Potter, although I don't like them more than Harry Potter. They're probably the 3 greatest like fantasy movies of all time. And 15 years later, you're gonna make them into a TV show. This is dumb. I hope it fucking drops.
And do you think it would be in the same time period, or
if they're making Lord of the Rings? Here's the thing. Tolkien wrote a lot. I mean, he wrote The Hobbit, he wrote The Lord of the Ring, he wrote The Silmarillion, he wrote another one I can't remember the name of, and it's all in Middle Earth. But, like, they said Lord of the Rings. That's Fellowship, Two Towers, Return of the King. I don't know how they're going to handle that. Peter Jackson's adaptations are so well done. And I just, it's too soon. Like, don't fucking Spider-Man this. I hope Amazon realizes, like, it's too soon for this, and they should drop it.
Since you have the success, the medieval success, because that's kind of the time period that this is in the fantasy realm with shows like Game of Thrones and Vikings, everyone's trying to get in on like this space, which I think is a good thing. It's an awesome area to cover. But Lord of the Rings has been done, and it worked so well for the 2001 to 2003 era it was in, because CGI was just coming along, and it relied mostly on practical effects. I mean, there was a lot of CGI in it, but it was heavily, like, the orcs were all practical effects, and they weren't motion capture and stuff, and that's why it worked so well in the time period it was. The big problem I had with The Hobbit was it was just an abundance of CGI and action as opposed to heartfelt story. And I feel like they'd want to do the same thing and just be like, oh, we got to show the Nazgul fighting every episode just because we have a budget.
Right.
I have a big problem with this because the Hobbit was stretched into 3 movies and it didn't work. Lord of the Rings had to be 3 movies because there was so much content. And then a television show.
3 separate books.
Like getting very off track.
The Hobbit was a 300, 400 page book, and they stretched it into three movies
that were 3 hours long.
Yeah,
each.
And
like the Hobbit. Like Lord of the Rings.
Over relying on special effects, and I mean, I still enjoy the Hobbit movies, but the Lord of the Rings movies are so good. Like, I stand by what I said. Like, that'd be dumb. That's almost like if Netflix was like, "Hey, let's make a Harry Potter show."
Because Lord of the Rings explored everything. It explored all the mythology in that area. I don't know what else you would have to flesh out. It had all the different species, creatures.
Unless you want to make like, and I mean make like an actual show that's not like a animated cartoon like Star Wars Rebels or Star Wars The Clone Wars to Star Wars. I mean, there's so much Star Wars that there's so much Star Wars that you can make a show like that. But they literally said a Lord of the Rings show.
Now, what if it is the story about the kings?
I'd be in.
I just don't want it to be concurrent with the Lord of the Rings.
Exactly.
Frodo, Gandalf, that area is explored.
Yeah.
So if it's the kings, maybe, but I don't know.
Like if it was the first war for the ring, and you got what was his name, big forehead guy, Hugo Weaving. If you have Hugo Weaving in there as Elrond, then like that'd be so dope, and like that'd be cool. That'd be really cool if they did that. But if you're gonna recast, like if you're gonna recast Frodo Baggins, who in my heart will always be Elijah Wood, or you're gonna recast Legolas, and Orlando Bloom, so awesome as Legolas. Like, I'm out. I am out on that. But if they make a show that like is original, like Tolkien didn't write it, they just need the rights to the universe so they can make like a War for the Ring show, then then I'm on. But don't recast like that. I mean, it's only been 15 years, and those movies were incredible.
I just checked online while you guys were talking to double check what exactly the adaption's on, and there's no word yet. They're just in talks with the estate. So I really am gonna say that it's probably not the Lord of the Rings books again. They have so much good source material that they could really do a lot of different things in the universe, and I don't think why would they? Why would they do that? How could you top the Lord of the Rings in terms of making that into a TV show? I don't see how they would ever be able to make that happen. So, and especially now that we have in our heads who the characters are, at least on screen, I don't think it'd work. So you guys are right about talking about all the other different books or stories or things in the history of the lore in the Lord of the Rings sort of universe. They're definitely going to do something else, right? But
the Kings is the one I think I'd be most interested in.
There's not one statement yet on what exactly is being adapted, but it's certainly a discussion worth having of like what it would be. So we'll see.
When they're talking Game of Thrones spin-offs and they did The Hobbit, and I know The Hobbit was already a book, but are you guys for or against like leaving something alone or expanding the universe more?
Depends. I mean, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them was like a 50-page like companion special edition thing that J.K. Rowling just kind of wrote as Newt Scamander, and they've turned that into a great movie, and there are going to be 4 more. And I'm excited about that. I love being back in the Harry Potter universe. I mean, clearly, like, the original Harry Potter characters are my favorite, but, like, Fantastic Beasts was awesome. And, like, I kind of love the direction they're going with that. We look at the Star Wars prequels. I mean, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, like, Revenge of the Sith ended up being awesome, and Ewan McGregor was great as a young Alec Guinness. So, like, and now with the sequels, episode 7 and 8 come out, I love all those characters. I love that. There are certain places where you just have to have a great idea. Like, you can't do it if there's, like, uncertainty about it, you know? I mean, we as fans can have uncertainty, but, like, if you're like, oh, should we do this? Like, should we have a story after Return of the Jedi? Should we go before Sorcerer's Stone in Harry Potter? Like there are things that, like, you'd have to, obviously Tolkien's gone, but George Lucas, Disney was like, we have these really good ideas. George, can we have Star Wars? And he had a huge buyout, but he's just like, you know what? That sounds okay. Go ahead and do it. J.K. Rowling wrote the screenplay for Fantastic Beasts, and it was awesome. So, like, if the Tolkien estate and they can get something great, then I'm all for it. But, like, you know, it all just kind of depends. We can have uncertainty, but the studios can't.
Okay.
If a studio is going to milk a franchise, and I don't say that in a negative connotation, it only should be if there's a story worth telling. And I'll just leave it at that. That's essentially what Dan was getting at, but only if it's really something you want to say. It can't just be more cash grabs.
Yeah.
But that happens. It does.
What would you consider The Hobbit?
Cash grab.
Cash grab?
I don't think it was very good, but I also actually, unpopular opinion, I don't like the Lord of the Rings movies too much. I don't like a few things about it, but I don't want to get into it. It's just not for me. And The Hobbit was not anything special. Definitely CGI fest.
Yeah.
But is that all we have? That's our news?
I like Martin Freeman as Bilbo.
He was good.
Yeah.
And Cumberbatch voicing Smaug.
And who was the guy that was Thorin? I really liked him a lot.
I know who you're talking about.
To the internet.
Yeah.
Richard Armitage.
Yeah, he was great. I love Thorin. He was a good character.
Well, we saw a movie this week. We saw Thor Ragnarok. That's directed by Taika Waititi. He is a New Zealand director, one of the biggest names to come out of there in film. Imprisoned, the mighty Thor finds himself in a lethal gladiatorial contest against the Hulk, his former ally. Thor must fight for survival and race against time to prevent the all-powerful Hela from destroying his home and the Asgardian civilization. It stars Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, Cate Blanchett, Idris Elba, Jeff Goldblum, Mark Ruffalo, and Anthony Hopkins. That's a real laundry list of stars
And
there.
we left some off.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopscotch.
Anthony Hopscotch. Anthony Butterscotch. And he's always got those Werther's Originals in his pockets because he's an old guy.
Oh.
Those are great.
Yeah.
Big hard candy guy. But let's jump right into it. What's our positives?
This movie, I gotta talk about Taika Waititi. I was unaware of him up until I saw his film called Boy. And in that film, it was so well written, so well done, so well directed and acted. I found a lot of things out about Taika Waititi through his work. And once I saw his work, I found out that his work is just a beautiful representation of him as a human being. He's so funny, witty, but so passionate about what he does that his films are just representations of him. And Boy was a great film. I recommend that if you want to, know his work before you see Thor Ragnarok. But Thor Ragnarok was more of the same. Taika Waititi grew up in New Zealand. He's a huge fan of American culture, and he was a huge fan of Thor. And you saw that in this movie. It was a great representation of Taika Waititi's directing style in a huge Disney Marvel motion picture when before he was doing indie films in his home country. So this was a great coming out party for him in American culture, and I'm so glad that it did really well. This movie was so well written, so well done. It was really funny. The acting was awesome. Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston back again as Thor and Loki. There was just great banter. Taika Waititi himself was in the movie, and I won't give away there because his character is awesome, and his character is actually my favorite part of the movie. But I won't say who. He's just definitely the guy with the New Zealand accent, and you'll figure that out soon enough when you go see it.
Quick question for you: Would you, now that you've seen Thor Ragnarok, would you want to go back to see his other work? Are you enthusiastic about what else he's done?
If you guys ever want to watch Boy, I'm very down to watch it again. But I know he directed 3 other films before Boy, or maybe after Boy.
After.
Yeah, so like I do kind of want to watch his other films. And I mean, gotta say, acting was awesome, but my huge positive is just Taika Waititi. He's awesome. I love him, and I want to see him continue to work in the Marvel Universe. We talked right after the film, like right after the 2 big Marvel movies of this year were Spider-Man and now Thor.
Guardians.
And Guardians, okay. So James Gunn and the Guardian series as well. The writing in those is awesome. The comedy, the writing, those movies out of any of the other Marvel movies feels very comic booky. There's enough comedy, wit, and action that, like, you know, I think the rest of them should be like that, you know? So, I mean, they're obviously serious tones, but, like, Captain America Civil War, the Spider-Man character in that was, like, the comedy for it. And it just worked. So, like, I kind of want to see James Gunn, who directed Spider-Man.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
Keep talking though.
I wanted to say Mark Webb, but he was the Amazing Spider-Man.
He was the Amazing Spider-Man.
But yeah,
John Watts, who has his name on, let's see, it's a few things that I'm not familiar with. Just smaller stuff. He worked on the Onion News Network, and
well, good with that. Okay, so he's funny. So
Yeah.
if he worked at the Onion, and I'm good with the small stuff. Look at Taika Waititi. He was an independent film director from New Zealand, and he made one of the funniest and could be like one of my favorite Marvel movies. It's definitely the best Thor movie.
Oh, without a doubt.
And it was so well done. And I want to see James Gunn, Watts, and Waititi go forward with Marvel. I mean, because I assume, and it's true, the assumption of many, that after Infinity War in May, that Tony Stark is going to be probably gone. Like, Cap's most definitely going to be gone. Hulk could be gone. Like, so many of, like, the bigger guys that we've gotten to know over this 10-year Hollywood dominance of Marvel movies, they could be gone. Spider-Man, Thor, and the Guardians are kind of the future, or at least we know they're definitely ones who could exist after Infinity War. So to have Taika Waititi work with the other guys and actually have a great film here to get his name out there, I'm excited to see if Marvel brings him back for anything else.
But to rope this back in, this is a movie review. Mike, what are your positives?
He gave a lot.
Oh no, I meant you.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just moving us along,
Gotcha.
because I could talk about
yeah,
that all day.
yeah,
I just wanted to make sure we're on topic.
This is the movie. So for a long time, we saw Civil War, and it was real. What was that sound?
It's just a reminder.
I was really interested in maybe the darker tone they were gonna take, and then we got Doctor Strange, or was Doctor Strange was after Civil War, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Doctor Strange, I was like, are they really going to keep doing this kind of gimmicky comic tone? And I was kind of starting to fall off a little bit. And Guardians and Spider-Man wrote me back in. This is the movie I have finally accepted that Marvel's just never going to have that serious dark tone like The Dark Knight that I was kind of hoping for. But it was also the movie that won me over because I'm like, these movies need the comedy. These movies need the laughs and the fun little gags they have. And it's just part of the universe. And this movie finally got me to accept that. So that's my first positive. It kind of won me over finally. The girl who played Valkyrie.
Yeah, you didn't mention her in the...
I just kept her X's so long.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention her too. Thanks for telling me her name. Tessa Thompson, and I'm pretty sure she's Creed's girlfriend. Actually,
That sounds about right, actually.
No, was it her or Zoe Kravitz?
I'm on it.
Either way, the girl who played Valkyrie was a cool introduction. I'm losing my train of thought.
It was.
It was she played the girlfriend?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. She's gorgeous. She was great in this movie. Nice addition to the universe. The synopsis for this movie kind of picks up like halfway through the movie.
It's because there's like a lot of spoilers if you
yeah,
don't want to spoil.
and I really the beginning was really cool and it was really heartfelt. I appreciated that. But this movie also has continued to highlight the best relationship in the Marvel Universe between two characters, and that's Thor and Loki. Say what you want, Avengers is one of my favorite Marvel movies, which they're both in. Both the Thor movies are near the bottom, but their relationship through all of them has kept this franchise afloat, and they expand on it even more, and I'm pretty amazed that they continue to. When you first meet Loki, he comes across as one-dimensional. He's the mischievous god, and he's always getting into shit. And somehow they have worked that into Loki becoming an anti-hero, or maybe one of the deepest characters in the Marvel Universe. So I love that they were able to further flesh out that relationship and those characters. I also said once we got out of the movie that the Russo brothers have hinted that they're going to be done. The Russo brothers have directed Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War, and they will be doing in both the Avengers Infinity War movies. So they might be tapped out. With how Taika Waititi was able to choreograph and demonstrate the action in this movie, I want him to be the guy going forward, because this movie has a battle between gods. Hela is the goddess of death, where she is the villain played by Cate Blanchett. Very good in the movie. And Thor, who's the god of thunder. And Heimdall, Idris Elba's character, they're all gods. And the battles felt epic. And that's what I really loved about it. Like, my problem with Age of Ultron was the battle with the bots. They kind of felt cheesy a little bit. These, it actually felt like very gritty, on the ground. You're seeing swords and hammers being thrown. And I love the epic tone it had to it in the battle sequences. So I kind of hope that maybe they give him, if not another Thor movie, maybe a collaborative effort where you see multiple heroes getting together, because how he was able to get all these characters to work together and give them their moments to shine worked really well.
I will say in some of the battle scenes too, like they look like old paintings from the Dark Ages or whatever. Like
the overhead shot,
the light on one side and the dark on the other side. it just looked like it was a painting in motion. It was awesome.
Yeah. So I'll bounce to you on your positives.
Your point about Age of Ultron, a lot of the robot fighting just kind of felt like artificial time wasters, whereas you felt a little more stake in when they were just taking down rows and rows of goons.
Yeah.
It was just well done.
Yeah.
Well done. My biggest positive, and the only thing I really have to say, because I don't want to be redundant, is that this movie kind of fixed one of my qualms that I had with the other two Thor movies, in that to make Thor relatable in the first two, they would bring him to Earth to just make him, oh, hey, he's on Earth and all the other stuff happens here. Remember that? And here's Thor now. But this movie, Taika Waititi, being a fan of Thor, recognizes that that's not, for the most part, where Thor usually spends his time. In solo books, Thor is often found exploring the characters of the mythology of Norse mythology. He spends time exploring the cosmos. He goes to other dimensions. He explores and does other things than just being in New York or Washington, D.C., just getting buildings wrecked. There's more to Thor. He explores places, and that's what this movie did. And it went somewhere else, and it didn't have to be anything confusing that he was on some crazy salvage planet with a gladiator ring. It wasn't a big deal. He just said, Taika Waititi just says, okay, that's where we are, but here, just follow this. And the humor keeps the audience in, because humor is going to rope in a general audience, even if we're on a weird alien planet that might not totally cater to every person out there. He kept us in it, despite how far-fetched it was, because he just did a great job. And I'm just happy that Thor went somewhere else, because that's really what makes him relatable. Isn't that he was on Earth, it's that he's Thor, and
He's the god of thunder.
we saw a little bit more personality behind him now. Instead of just him taking everything seriously and getting a joke every once in a while, now you see him kind of struggle with things a little bit more instead of an artificial struggle that it felt like in the first ones.
I also think the cutting of the hair was very necessary. I don't know what it was, but it felt like a rejuvenated character.
Yeah. It brought about a sort of change. But that's about it.
Since we highlighted some of the positives, what was your problems with the movie?
Well, as we said, the movie was really funny and it's chock full of jokes, but sometimes the jokes didn't feel like they were in the right place. And it wasn't that they weren't funny, it's just the pace was a little bit off for me. That's about it. Sometimes they just didn't land, as you guys, we talked about that. But other than that, I think it was really good and one of the better Marvel movies I've seen.
Yeah, not many negatives over here. I'd agree with you. But just in terms of the film, it wasn't like the unfunny jokes that made me mad. It was the environment you and I saw the movie in which the people in the movie theater who would laugh at the bad jokes and then you'd miss the next line. That happened more than once when we saw it, and that just kind of pissed me off. So in the overall experience, like when the unfunny jokes, when people who don't get comedy laugh at that and make me miss the next line, that kind of makes me mad. So I guess in terms of the movie itself, it has nothing to do with it. But yeah, I guess the some of the jokes that didn't land fed into that. So yeah, I'd agree with you, but really it's minuscule.
Carl Urban's character, who is in the first couple scenes as more of a gag comical character, he was not in any of the previous movies, right?
I don't believe so.
His character's name is Scourge, right? I was not a fan. Maybe the one character I thought that made the movie feel a tad overstuffed, because every time Hela was on screen, you kind of had him. They were trying to develop him too and show like in conflict with him, and I just didn't fucking care because he wasn't in any previous movies. He wasn't already established. Like, maybe some scenes that had him, you could have dedicated a couple more shots to Odin or Heimdall. You know, I don't know, but I'm way more into them, or even Loki. Like, why not? But I just wasn't about where his character started and ended, because where it started, I'm like, oh, he has a couple gags, and then they kept showing him, and I'm like, I know where his character is gonna go, and it went that way, and I was like, not about it.
We didn't mention Mark Ruffalo as Hulk at all, but I will say this as kind of a negative, but not for the movie, just in terms of promotion. Imagine if we didn't know who Thor was fighting in the ring, and we found that out in the theater rather than in a trailer a couple months ago.
Do you think they could have? Do you think they could have
kept that secret? Probably not, because Hulk was going to play a big role in this movie,
and the poster,
and he did, and it helps marketing a lot. But also, like, you know, we knew that Hulk was going to show up anyway because he hadn't been in a movie in 2 years. So, like, I'm happy that we knew it, because Mark Ruffalo did an awesome job as Hulk, and I just like, it doesn't take away from the movie that we knew Hulk was going to be in it. It was awesome, and Hulk did a really good job.
I'd also say that I'm going to get more back into the positives. The only two movies we've seen with Ruffalo as Hulk were both the Avengers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
He was in a post-credit scene for like Iron Man and Iron Man 3. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right. But I would say this is the first movie that successfully shows his inner conflict, because you don't have so many other characters going on. Not that I thought Avengers did it poorly, but I think this was their greatest opportunity to truly flesh that problem he has out, and I liked where it resolved. But that was just another positive, bringing him up. But yeah, really, Carl Urban, my only really big flaw with the movie.
One final thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of this review. This is our first film with Jeff Goldblum in it.
I was going to talk about him while we were reviewing it, actually.
He was terrific in the movie. You could tell a lot of his scenes, as some people might know, like 80% of the movie was off script and it was just improvised. And you could definitely tell in all the scenes he was in, it was improvised, but that does not hurt it. It was very funny, and he added a lot to the movie.
So we're going to rate this sucker. I will say, okay, so again, breaking news here. Jeff Goldblum was on James Corden show earlier this week, and he once again used the Goldblum rating scale. So I'm prone to believe once again that Jeff Goldblum is listening to us review this movie right now, because he stole, or has been using it for a long time, and we stole it. I don't know who stole it. Somebody stole it, but we have the Goldblum rating scale here on this podcast, and Jeff Goldblum also uses it. So putting 2 and 2 together, Jeff Goldblum is listening right now, and he is going to hear me give this movie a 4.1 out of 5 Goldblums. It is such an entertaining, funny movie. Beautiful job by Taika Waititi. Great cast. Really well done movie. It was awesome. We love Jeff Goldblum, but we need to get you on this show. We need to talk about this Goldblum rating scale. Just get in contact with us, Jeff, okay? We want to talk to you about this rating scale.
4 out of 5 Goldblums. I like the movie so much that I want our previous 4 out of 5, which is the Independence Day face, to be changed to Goldblum's Grandmaster face in this movie.
If I get a spare moment, I'll change it for you. Oh, man. I think I'm at a 3.5. It just, I don't know why, but I'm sitting at a 3.5. And I don't know what the math is on that.
It's a 3.8.
3 point. This is still really good.
Yeah.
But we won't get the Independence Day head, will we?
Fuck it.
On our Facebook page.
No, you will. You just won't get a complete one.
Oh, okay, that's right. Because he's, whatever. A lot to talk about. But, yeah, I really urge people to go see this. It's a great movie.
Marvel fan or not, this movie is just really well done and hilarious. So even if you're not into the whole Marvel universe, this movie does a pretty good job. I mean, you should know who Thor and Hulk are, but like, even if you didn't see the first 2 Thors, like, you're not really missing much. Like, you can go see this movie and enjoy it regardless of whether you're a Marvel fan or not. It's really funny and really well done. You okay, Ray?
I was just looking at it. I thought it was a comic that Mike had. Don't worry about it. Ready to go into our main topic this week?
Yeah. You have paper?
I have it on analog this week. Let's start with a lighter-hearted one.
Ryan's going to ask us questions for those of you still not knowing what the fuck's going on.
Oh, yeah. Our main topic this week, we have a couple that we're going to do, and I'm going to start with the lighter-hearted one. If you guys could, you have the full funding to start any business you want. What's your business model? What are you trying to achieve? Dan?
You're going to me first? Fuck.
I could start if you need a second.
No, before I wanted to be like a journalist or like a movie critic, like I seriously like thought about like opening my own sandwich shop. Mm-hmm. And like I think that still, like, if I were to open a business, like, I'd definitely, like, if I wasn't opening a business that wasn't like my own journalism publication or like my own like movie reviewing company, like, I would definitely start a sandwich shop. Like, I think I'd get together, like, try to get some sandwich artists and like try and figure out like some great like combinations for sandwiches. Maybe make like a stoner sandwich shop that has like chicken fingers and shit on sandwiches, like on a college campus that'd get like a ton of money.
No. Oh wait, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. So like I think, you know, being a member of the fat community, I think my abilities, if it's not in writing or reviewing a movie, I think my skills are best served in a form of a sandwich shop. And that's the shop I'd open. And like I said, I try to open on a college campus, just make these really like weird, obscure sandwiches that are delicious. And hopefully I do well.
Now, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had a question.
Yeah, no worries.
If let's say you're on a college campus.
Yeah.
If your sandwich shop gets big, you got a cult following, everyone's like, we got to go to Dan's sandwich shop. What are you calling it first? That's the first question here.
Just probably Danimals.
Okay. Now.
And like my big sandwich challenge should be like the Danimal challenge, and you'd have to eat like 4 of my sandwiches in like an hour.
Not just one big one, just 4.
4 sandwiches in an hour, but like you get to choose which 4 sandwiches they are, like out of my extensive menu, and you'd have to finish them in an hour. But let's just say it's very hard to eat one sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but my question was, what?
Okay, so like little like 3-inch subs are too small, but sometimes like bigger, like foot-long subs are too big. Is there like a happy medium?
Jimmy John's does the 8-inch.
Right.
You guys hate Jimmy John's, but like
I don't hate Jimmy John's.
You hate Jimmy John's, right, Mike?
I'm a disliker.
He dislikes
I like Jimmy John's a lot. The prices could be a little smaller, but like
Yeah.
I recognize that there are better sandwich shops and worse sandwich shops than Jimmy John's.
Fair enough.
I feel like I never crave it, but I should because their sandwiches are pretty good.
But my question for you, Dan,
Sorry.
you have this sandwich shop
Yeah.
in maybe a college town or wherever. It's popular. It's got a cult following. Everyone wants to go to Danimals.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sell out, and we're going to call it selling out in this, and open up more locations and it maybe eventually franchise it? Or do you just become that artistry kind of just, we're going to have one and we're going to stay here? Are you going to be an institution, or are you going to grow and grow and grow? What do you want out of this? Because you could obviously make more money, but there's the passion part where people don't want to expand.
If somebody came to me with an idea for expansion, making a McDonald's reference, I wouldn't want to, like, I don't think Ray Kroc really did. I mean, like, he was an asshole, but he was like a businessman. I don't think he really screwed over the McDonald's brothers, because the McDonald's brothers were kind of set on having the one location. They didn't want to think about franchising at all. When they tried, they failed, so they never wanted to try it again. Kroc had this vision of McDonald's, and obviously look at McDonald's today. So if somebody came to me and said, your sandwiches are amazing, we should expand to every college town in America, I'd say, how are we going to do that? Are you going to screw me over? Like, we need to talk about this. We need to make sure these are the same. If the people who are going to run these other Danimals restaurants are going to create their own sandwiches and theirs, are they going to stick to my menu? There'd just be a lot of talks. And I think just in terms of knowledge, I'd really have to sit down. I'd lawyer up. I'd see what are the positives and negatives of doing each. But spur of the moment, I think I would want to expand, yeah. Just as long as I'm involved in the process and I never get bought out. I want to be the name and the face of the restaurant.
That's fair. Now, there's always, you ever hear like there's kind of like tall tales about famous things and how they get invented. Like there's a story about how the chocolate chip cookie got invented because some lady was making cookies and all she had was chocolate chips somehow, and then she just put them in, and then bam, chocolate chip cookies are invented. The thing of the sandwich has been like disputed between a few different things, but like the main one is that like some guy was in like Vegas or something, and all he had was like bread, and he sliced it and just made his fucking sandwich because that was all they had at like some Vegas casino or something. Do you know what like the truth is?
Sandwiches have been around for a long time. But like typically, like sandwiches in the beginning were one slice of bread with stuff on top.
Like it's open face, and you fold it.
You wouldn't even fold it. People would like eat
What
it
the
like
shit?
a pizza.
That's just messy.
I know that's why somebody implemented the top. But I know that like, do you know that the cheeseburger was an accident? Like cheese accidentally fell down.
Really? No, I didn't know.
Allegedly.
It's much better that way. I hate hamburgers.
Oh yeah.
They suck.
But yeah, like whoever invented sandwiches, like, good for
God bless them.
Sandwiches are like the best thing ever, man.
Mm-hmm.
You just get 2 slices of bread, you put some meat and cheese in the middle, and oh man.
That is what a sandwich is.
Yeah.
Is that all you have on that?
I'm kind of hungry. I want a sandwich now.
We'll get sandwiches.
Yeah.
Mike, what's your business?
Does this have to be like plausible?
No, mine's ridiculous.
All right. All right. Mine is assuming we have this technology where I run a place where you can literally hop into a pod and live any virtual reality you want.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
So if you want to be like a mobster, you fucking hopped in the septic tank.
Septic tank.
And
Get a fucking tube of shit. All of a sudden, you're best friends with Al Capone.
Yeah. So you could do that. You could literally live in the Wild West, gladiator. Anything you want. You can just fucking go to a different reality and forget about forget about fucking life.
The only
endless possibilities.
So you're kind of like Anthony Hopkins in Westworld.
Oh yeah.
The only negative is that you have to climb into a cylinder of
tank.
human waste, but it works. The technology's there.
And how much do you pay to climb into this cylinder of human waste?
That's a good question though. Like how much would it actually cost? It depends on how. you know, how long. It's almost like a vacation. You go in for 2 weeks, you pay like a couple fucking thousand.
Yeah, so like you have to assume like it's like Westworld. Somebody assumed that it is kind of like a trip to Disney World, like for like a family, to where like it'd be like a couple grand. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to launch that business until I had the tech to not only do the virtual reality, but a person would pop in for like 10 minutes, pay whatever you had, because you can put whatever price you wanted, because let's assume you are the only person with this technology, so you could do whatever you want. But I would wait to launch it until you could do it where a person's there for 10 minutes and it's like 2 weeks.
Let's assume, that's what it is.
That'd be awesome.
All right. 10 minutes though. That's kind of
It's for them. It feels like
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
Let's say like a couple hours.
Okay.
A couple hours, and you're there for like. So like every hour is like a week.
But it actually feels like that to them. So it's not like wasted, but it's more efficient that way.
Expensive business model, but dude, that'd be so fucking cool.
Where'd you go? You would be a mobster, you said?
Dude, you can go anywhere. I mean, I'd switch off. I'd go be a mobster one day, be a fucking cowboy the next, be a gladiator another, go to a fucking Star Wars.
I'd be superhero, I think. I think that'd be my one.
I'd be a college student who has a podcast on a weekend.
That's really limiting.
Yeah, you can do that without paying thousands of dollars.
Oh.
Well, he is paying thousands of dollars for college.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But could you fucking imagine?
That'd be awesome.
Oh my god, that would be so fucking cool.
You'd have to get me past the fact that I'm jumping into shit, but other than that, like I'm in.
Septic.
I'd be Spider-Man for 3 weeks.
That'd be cool.
That'd be the best. That'd be so cool. That's an awesome business.
Yeah.
You'd make so much Anthony Hopkins money.
And I could just like sit in my chair and be like, Bernard, what we do is so complicated.
Why is he French now?
He gives a shit. I can't do an Anthony
he's
Hopkins.
smoking a cigarette. He's got a baguette.
You could be a serial killer. You could be Hannibal Lecter.
You could do whatever you want.
People.
Jack the Ripper. He's my favorite. Now, actually, I think I'm going Gacy. John Wayne Gacy's probably my favorite.
You want to eat people?
No, he didn't eat people.
I thought he ate people. I'm pretty sure he ate
He
people.
killed
right?
kids
Oh.
and dressed up.
He dressed up like a clown and killed kids. He might have taken.
I thought
he
he
might
ate
have taken
people.
a bite out of a couple of them.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you?
I mean, if it was like a fat kid, like
You just want to see?
You'd be like, oh my god, I could just eat you.
It's a tender cut. It's like pork belly. It's that tender, nice cut.
That's
You
why he
slow
went
roast
after.
it.
That's why
right.
Pennywise went after Ben in.
Now this is the Wikipedia just blurb. John Wayne Gacy was an American. By the way, he's from Joliet, Illinois.
Wow.
John Wayne Gacy was an American serial killer and rapist.
Okay.
He sexually assaulted, tortured, and murdered at least 33 teenaged boys and young men between 1972 and
Wait! No, this is
1978.
Kevin Spacey's page.
Oh, whoops.
You have to go to the John Wayne Gacy one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Only accusations to this point.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Ted Bundy was weird, dude.
Was
he
he
like
the guy who
wore
ate people?
skin.
No. Ed Gein was a Ed Gein.
that's what I'm thinking
He
of.
was the one. That's the one who they based
Buffalo Bill?
Buffalo Bill off of in Silence of the Lambs. Was Ed Gein.
Serial killers are fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, though it's
no, they
horrible,
really are.
Like all the books about them are
like
cool.
Ted Cruz.
No, dude, criminals in general. Like I have like I think it's like greatest criminals at like a book at my house, and you got anyone ranging from like serial killers to like fucking John Dillinger in there. It's really cool. It's fascinating.
I'm taking a criminology class next semester. I'm pretty excited about
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, alternate reality.
That'd be a great business.
Oh,
A
that'd be
lot
so
more
good.
profitable than the sandwich shop, and definitely more profitable than mine.
It'd be the best way to like exercise your creative wants that you like can't make into a movie. Just make it everything you want.
Yeah.
What's yours, Rye?
Well, I think starting any business, you gotta find out who your audience is, who's buying your product, who's coming into your business to go into your shit tanks. And mine.
That is hilarious. By the way, we're never gonna let that
Like,
go.
are we tacking that on officially? That the only problem is that you just have to go into shit,
Yeah.
or are you?
You
just
wear
trying-
a mask.
Okay. Like wait, like I'm picturing like cheap Walmart like snorkeling goggles, like the mask that goes over your nose, and that's all you
Ooh.
get. You just gotta hold your mouth.
If
You
you're
have to eat it.
Okay.
If you're in there for a couple hours though, like would it like stain into your skin and you'd like smell like shit forever?
You probably smell bad for like a month, and it's just gonna be pungent. Yeah. But with any business, you need to recognize who the consumer is, and the best businesses are ones that are applicable to massive audiences. Let's say McDonald's. Everybody loves McDonald's. Everyone goes there, and they make a consistent product throughout in their chains worldwide. Now, my business is to fix a problem that is applicable to everyone on Earth, because everyone has gone through this from time to time. We all have bought something, and let's say you went into the store, maybe it's on sale, maybe they just mark their prices this way, but there's a sticker on that product. And when you take that sticker off, without fail, you don't do it right, and there's that shit on there.
Oh, dude, that's the worst.
What happens is you bring it into one of my franchises, and it takes 10 minutes or less. You just drop off your product, you go get yourself a coffee, you go to the park, play with the kids, and when you come back, we have taken off that sticker residue. And just like that, we have made a worldwide franchise. We're the sticker people.
Oh man, that's actually a really good idea.
That's bullshit though. They have like solvents that
Yeah,
get rid of that stuff.
I was about to say
they
like that's
do.
a thing.
But mine will be like luxurious. It'll look like an Apple store when you walk in, and there's like one guy behind.
He's wearing
a
glasses.
wall.
He's
Yeah.
kind of fat. He's like, "Hey man, what's up?"
But
Yeah.
like on like video game or like DVD covers, like if you want to like preserve the case and there's like a GameStop sticker on it, or like there's like a Walmart like thing on it, like you got to be really careful taking that off, because if you want just the image of the cover without like the crap on it, then if you make one wrong move, you have crap on it. So I like that.
Well, you're gonna have crap
actually,
on you at Mike's place.
literally, I'd give your business money.
People are often too lazy to do things themselves, like with a do-it-yourself making something or fixing something, and so this is kind of taking that model and just doing it for stickers. Would it work? Absolutely not. But it's something that afflicts us, and what's going to make it popular in this stupid fantasy is that we make it a luxury. Hold on. We make it a luxury, and so it's going to look like an Apple store. There's going to be like a pretty lady in a tight white dress and an iPad, and she's going to be like having an English accent and be like, hello. And you go in, you drop off your thing. I know it was.
Do you get a Hummer out of it?
Like the car or that dirty thing?
No, like a blowjob.
No, you don't. That would just be filthy.
I don't know.
But worldwide, we're taking it worldwide.
Okay, so where I work at the library, sometimes when I have to like take old books off the shelves and like remark them, so like by putting like new labels off them, there are like really old labels that were put on like 20, 30 years ago that I have to take off, and I have to use like a little like micro spatula to like, it's like a little knife basically that I have to like get under the sticker and like rip them off. And with like the older ones, like they always leave a residue, and like some of the sticker will like still be on the book, and it is the worst. So I'd like tell my boss about your company, and you'd have like an official department that like goes to you to take the stickers and shit off. I'd be out of a job, because actually it's my job to take the stickers and make sure the residue's off.
Yeah.
But like maybe I just come work for you.
Well, that's the thing, is that like once we proliferate enough, we're going to be able to get big clients like you, where they ship off all their stickered stuff, and we're going to take it off. But eventually, if this business grows big enough, this is a self-defeating prophecy here, is if we defeat stickers worldwide like this, then eventually the sticker companies will probably go out of business, and then my business is completely crumbled. So
No, because people would still have to make stickers.
but if it grows big enough, won't the world realize, hey, stickers suck, let's just use something else, and then
No,
I'm dead?
people always love stickers, the scratch and sniff ones at the doctor's office.
Who knows? All I know is that they need to make stickers differently, because that shit sucks.
As a kid, would you rather have a sticker or a lolly after the doctor's office?
Stickers. Lollipops are forever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like 5 minutes, but you get way more out of it. I mean, come on.
I do like the cool Band-Aids though.
Yeah,
Like the
those are the
Patrick
shit.
Star Band-Aids and stuff.
I had those children's Band-Aids on after I cut my finger off when we were cooking like twice. Remember that?
You still have a finger.
Yeah. Well, I chopped off a bit.
No, I got a little bit of your fourth metacarpal in my soup the other night.
Yeah. Just like the pinky.
Yeah.
It's all in there. You guys want to go on to the next topic here?
Yeah.
This one's not as fun, but I want to talk about it. If you get to choose What's the ideal way that you're gonna die? You get the full discretion on what you want.
In my sleep.
Just you pass out for the night. You're done.
Yeah. And I like shit when I die and piss, and it's kind of funny for the person who finds me. They're like, oh,
they gotta clean it all up.
like I'm not only dead, but they're just like, oh, he fucking stinks.
That's not funny.
It sucks for them.
Yeah.
When would you want that?
Like what point?
Yeah, what point in your life would you
I don't
want
know,
that?
okay. My cutoff age is always 75. I always say that. But at this point, I'm going to assume like I have grandkids. I've had a prospering life, but I'm like 75 and I'm a widower. I don't know. Like the circumstances always change. I'd prefer that it's just like, you know, I go before most of the people in my life, like you guys or something, because I don't want to go through losing friends. Like that sucks.
Yeah. Can I go off of that really quick?
Yeah.
You know how like they always say that because of modern medicine, we're gonna go a little bit longer than the people who are 90 now. Is 75 for us gonna look different than the 75 we see now?
I don't know. There's a lot of obese people.
That's true, but like it could be different for us. We might not be decrepit and
It
shitty.
could. I mean, you see some people that are like in their 70s and they look like they're in their late 50s. It's rare, but I mean it happens.
If the sugar epidemic and all that crap keeps happening, they say by like 2040, 1 in 3 people are going to be like diabetic and obese.
Oh Jesus!
By like the 1950s scale that they use.
Mm-hmm.
No, by like the 2 years ago scale.
Making a joke.
Oh,
Come up a bit. I can barely hear
But
you.
well. Out of the 3 people in this room, I'd be the one who's obese and diabetic.
Unfortunately, that might
Yeah,
be
I'm the
the
fattest.
case.
Yeah, I'm the fattest guy here.
But I don't want to get into that. That's sad.
Yeah, that's sad.
I don't want to imagine you as ginormous.
2040.
9.
Good movie.
Oscar
Yeah.
Pistorius.
Yeah.
2049.
Sorry. You were going?
What is that? 23 years from now, I'd be 43.
43. That's when you want to go out?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
I'm just trying to
Just
figure out
doing
like,
that.
if the statistic becomes true, like,
Oh.
you know, like 43. Not that long of a life, but not that short either. I'm trying to view the positives. In my ideal way of death. See, here's the thing. I always think that, like, karma is going to come back to get me, and, like, you know, because of some of the 9/11 jokes I've made, like, I'm going to, like, die in a terrorism attack, and, like, or maybe because of, like...
Are we allowed to make jokes if that's how you go? Are they allowed? I want to establish that
I don't
now.
give a fuck.
All right.
It's like, oh, my friend died in 9/11 too. Imagine if there was another terrorism attack and they just did it on September 11th again. That'd be fucked up, right? And there was a 9/11 too. Then not only would we have to remember 9/11, we'd have to remember 9/11 too, all on the same day.
So do you want to die in a terrorist attack?
No, I'm just saying, what if karma happens and that it happened? What else do I joke about?
Mosul.
Yeah, I could end up as a journalist beheaded over there because as I am a journalist, like, you know, somebody could behead me. I wouldn't.
You could easily avoid this by just not going there. Just don't go.
What if they come in here?
Well, then you're not in Mosul. at
That's
least.
just
I don't know.
inefficient on their part to bring you back to Mosul.
Is it just natural for journalists? You're like, oh yeah, we got free plane ticket to Mosul. You want to go? You're like, oh yeah, I'm a journalist, and then you just go.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. You're just all gullible.
That's how they get you. What else do I joke about?
Does Delta Airlines have like round trip connecting flights through like Mosul, like at the Mosul airport? Do they have one, or is it all just rubble?
You get like free miles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before we start getting into national tragedies, I'm going to pivot and ask how would you want to die actually?
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I keep just bringing this back. Yeah.
No, I think I've said on this show before how I'd commit suicide if it happened.
How would you?
Like, I'd make it funny. Like I'd dress up like Spider-Man or Batman and jump off a building, and then people are like, "Oh, he's fucking stupid. He thought he could fly." And like that's kind of how I'd commit suicide. But how I die,
I mean, you could do that if you wanted.
no, I don't want to kill myself.
Oh,
Spider-Man soup.
I think I've always I think like taking a bullet for somebody. I think that's how I'd want to go.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Like knowing I saved somebody else's life as like I go down, like that'd be pretty ideal for me.
Now, would you want it to be like you take the bullet, but it's like right in your head and you're out, or would you want to do it like the movies? when you get in
Slow
the
death
chest,
in a hospital.
you're like, I was one day from retirement.
Yeah, slow death in the hospital. Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
What? What age would you want to go out from that, Dan?
69.
Got to fill this dead air here.
No, it could be now. It could be 40 years from now. It could be 23 years from now when I'm a fat, obese, diabetic person.
So you're not picky.
No,
Okay.
just as long as I save somebody else. That'd be cool. But granted that I don't die at 43 from diabetic problems, then, yeah, that'd be pretty ideal.
Okay. I think when I reach those twilight years, let's say my wife is long dead past.
Your whore wife.
My kids are fine and I'm wow. Yeah, she's dead. My kids are fine. And I'm in the twilight years, my dog's all gray. He's just moping around, right?
What number dog is this for you?
I don't know.
It's got to be like your third, right?
I don't know.
He's a greyhound. Anyone?
Well, he's a bus. I just have a bus that sits next to me while I watch like TV. When I'm watching Jeopardy.
got that joke.
There's a full.
Come on, that was funny.
There's a full Greyhound
But a
bus.
greyhound's an actual dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would probably hire a hitman, and what I would do, I would have an open deal with him, pay him pretty good, maybe like a 25% tip too. I'd say to him, I want you to get me in just a quick way, but do not tell me when. It could be 2 weeks from now, it could be 6 years from now. Just do it when you can. So like I could just pay him, forget about it. And then one of these days I'll be like in the supermarket picking out which prunes I want. And I just like get a dart in the neck and it's done. Just quick. I don't want to know about it. But like I don't want to have a painful death because I got like shitty joints or my liver's failing. Just do it. Just get the hitman, get the John Wick guy and just have him do it.
La Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
That's his nickname.
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Which I found out in German class this week is like, you know how we have Paul Bunyan in America? Baba Yaga is like in like Russia and all the Slavic kind of countries is like a folklore character.
That's what they say in John Wick.
Throughout like everybody up there. Like it's a famous character and like she's in movies. It's like a witch, actually.
like
it was a little bit weird on that. They
like
had changed it for
Krampus.
the movie. Like Krampus a little bit. But it's one of those weird like fairy tale characters, and so like she's a witch that all the other bad guys in fairy tales are like afraid of because she's all fucked up and eats people.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But that's how I die.
So you'd want to just get like
So that's kind of...
not when you know. Just
I want to know.
Boom.
Yeah, I like that deal. I would do that.
What if he like blasted you in the head like at the supermarket and then
Yeah,
you're like
That's not my problem.
It was just your neck left.
and then it's just and then your blood's like all over the cabbages.
Well, I'd have another deal with him too, where I got to make him same as Mike, have him make me shit myself and pee everywhere. So like the poor kid who's got to clean it up at like at the Walmart, just like, oh shit, he pissed himself. And it
my death is so lame compared to your guys. Like you're hiring someone to kill you.
Yeah.
Dan's fucking saving somebody. I'm just fucking dying in my sleep because I'm old.
and your asshole fails.
Now let's get something clear.
What?
The person I saved had to be somebody I know. I'm not taking a bullet for some fucking schmuck. like I'm not gonna save like a crack dealer from a bullet.
That's fair.
He's probably the one shooting you, actually.
Yeah,
because
I didn't pay him for the crack.
Well,
The crack you ate. Get it? Anyone?
yeah,
Butthole joke.
I get it. Gentlemen, is that all we have on this?
No, but if we're talking about like suicide, then the Spider-Man Batman thing is a very viable.
That'd be
option.
awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. You could try make like the cape really cool if you're a Batman and try and glide a little bit.
What if I make it? You know how shitty that'd be?
Yeah.
Now, Ryan,
You're like, oh, I was trying to kill myself, but now I guess I have to protect these streets.
do you want to be like buried, cremated, or just thrown in the trash like Frank Reynolds?
Man, it's scary. There's a really cool Doctor Who episode that made me scared of being cremated, where like in like this dimension or whatever, people when they got killed would then kind of go into this weird kind of ghosty dimension, and if they got cremated, they would just feel like they were burning forever. Not that I think that would happen, but it made me second guess it. I've always wanted to be cremated just because I don't want to be a waste of space.
Yeah.
I think like getting all filled with a bunch of shit and then put into a nice box is stupid. Just burn me, put a nice thing on some stone, and we'll call it a day. Put some flowers there every once in a while.
At least you're getting some box even in the afterlife.
You know what they'll say when they come to visit me at the what cemetery?
What's that?
Oh, that nice ash. It's a good ash.
That's a tight ash. I want to be buried.
That's a smelly ash.
Oh, your ash smell.
That box he's in is rancid.
This is so dumb.
I want to be buried.
Yeah?
Frozen like Walt.
Yeah.
Frozen?
Yeah, because then they can bring me back. Like,
I think that's creepy. Can you imagine just waking up like 100 years later, like the fucking like Mad Max laying there? Like, what the fuck's happening?
yeah, it'd be cool.
It'd be nuts.
I wouldn't want to be frozen next to Walt Disney, though, because then he's all like, I hate Jews.
I wasn't gonna make the joke. I'm glad somebody did. No, it'd be cool. Like they'd put me right next to Walt. He wakes up next to me. He's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I'm like, "I also created a cartoon mouse. This is where they put us."
we're in the same category.
Yeah.
But is that what we have?
I'm done.
I am
We
also
could
done.
fucking bullshit around forever.
Yeah. All right. And that is this week's podcast. Remember that each and every Monday morning we upload to YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. We got links to those on our Facebook and Twitter page, which will be in the description. Any closing thoughts?
In a very morbid way, tell us how you want to die in their comments on Facebook or wherever, and then what kind of sandwich shop you'd open. Wait, it doesn't have to be a sandwich shop. Sorry, just whatever business. Other than that, we love the listeners. Keep listening.
Next week we're gonna be seeing Murdering the Orientals on the Express.
That comes out next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's the actual title of that film?
Murder on the Orient Express.
Murdering all the Orientals.
Wow.
On the Express.
Chinese people on a train.
Yeah. Directed by Kenneth Branagh and his awesome mustache.
Kenneth Branagh directed a terrible version of Frankenstein.
He also did a very good version of Hamlet. And he was in Dunkirk, and he's like, I'm staying.
Murder of the Orient Express opens up this coming Friday on the Monday morning this comes out.
He directed the first Thor.
He did. That is correct.
Kenneth Branagh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Murder on the Orient Express comes out the Friday of the week that this posts, and I don't even know what the date is on that.
Monday,
Is it the 10th?
November 6th.
It comes out the 10th.
Okay, so it comes out November 10th. It looks pretty good. We'll see how it is when we review it that following Sunday. But yeah, as Dan said, let us know if you have any input on a business you'd want to start or how you want to die. And as always,
Love you guys.
thank you for listening.
What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us.